So I have two kids who are in college. One is a junior and one is a fifth year senior graduating in December. And when they were in high school, I was a single mom. I've been a single mom since they were 3 and 5. And I had no clue how I was going to pay for college, how to get scholarships, how to get loans, nothing financial. I was completely clueless. And when they got to be like sophomores in high school, I started thinking about it. I mean, that makes me sound flaky, but that's kind of, I believe, what divorced parents, if not all parents, do. You live in the moment and then you say, oh my gosh, my kids are going to college soon. And today, I want to talk about tips for divorced parents who have kids in high school who are headed to college. And this is anybody who has freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors. And I have the best expert. She's going to be so helpful to you. And I wish I would have known her because she could have helped me save so much money in college. And my guest name is Vicky Vollweiler. Vicky has an MBA. She's also a certified divorce coach, but her specialty is college funding and financial aid. She is the CEO of her company, College Financial Prep. Hi, Vicky.
Hi, Jackie.
So, so when I was talking about, oh, I might be flaky, I saw you shaking your head. No, you're
Not at
not.
all.
So are you saying all parents, maybe not even divorced parents, you're not really thinking about college? I mean, people set up 529s, but then other than that, you don't really think about it till your kid's in high school.
True. I remember I'm also a divorced parent. And I remember when I was getting ready to go through my own divorce, I was thinking about, everything I would need to do just because I'm like a financial person. So I remember considering it and starting to ask questions. And somebody was like, "You have so many years to go. Why are you even thinking about this?" And that was completely the wrong answer for me.
And
Um,
how old were your kids at the time?
One was 13 and 12, 13, one was 3. Yeah, my kids are very far apart in age. Um, but
Well,
yeah,
definitely not the 3-year-old. I mean, and when they're 13, you're thinking about their bar mitzvah. You're not thinking about college. And when you get divorced, like I know for my divorce attorney, my kids were 3 and 5. No, college was never discussed, and it should have been.
yes. But my point is, even though I was thinking about it, I in my whole practice, nobody else thinks that early. I mean, don't get me wrong, some do, and if they do think about it early, it's never the wrong time to ask the question and have the discussion. But yes, most people don't consider it till they're there. Um, when that time comes that you start thinking about the money
Okay,
most often.
so we're in September. Tell me what parents should be thinking about right now if they have a junior and then a senior.
For junior year, it's mostly thinking about the SAT or the ACT exams. It's thinking about the college list. It's thinking about their extracurriculars, their grades, if they do any volunteer work, community service. Um, but it's also a time, whether you're separated, whether you're divorced, to start considering how much money you have saved for college, what types of colleges may be best for your child if they've expressed any interest in a career path, what type of schools. Um, and it may be a good time to start a conversation with a former spouse about, trying to all get on the same page. I, I'm divorced. I get it. I know how hard it is, to communicate with a former spouse, but so important when it comes to this. Saving money on the cost of college can truly be like one area in divorce that's a win-win for both parents. It is possible to save money if it's done correctly.
Okay, wait, I'm going to stop you here because there's several things you said that I want to comment on. The first one is when you're talking about volunteer work, giving back to the community. I want to tell my listeners that when my kids got to be juniors, they both had sports on their resume because they had always done sports, but they needed clubs. And I remember everybody saying, tell your kids to join some clubs, volunteer, do some stuff. Now, not only is it great that you volunteer, but you need to have that on a college app. And Vicky will tell you it helps your kids' chances of getting into the schools that they want to get into. So even if they're good at sports or they're doing music, diversity is the key. So they need to show that they're diverse. Is that right, Vicky?
Definitely. I know in my daughter's school right now, the schools require the kids to do community service. So I'm not sure if that's true across the United States, but yeah, the colleges are looking for that.
All right, so diversity is good. The other thing I wanted to say is Vicky said, well, maybe it's a good chance to talk to your ex about college. Well, I'm saying based on my own relationship, there are probably people listening saying, are you kidding me? I can't even talk to him about, the $5,000 I need for my kids' braces right now. I'm not going to go here. Do you find that there might be a mediation session that could
So
help people talk about that? Tell me about that. Maybe you want to okay, wait, I want to back up.
I do this
Maybe
all.
talk to Vicky first and then say, okay, I talked to this college expert. She recommended that we have this 1 hour mediation, probably cost you 300 bucks, to sort out exactly how we're going to pay for college. And Vicky's going to help because she's going to help us save money by getting us scholarships, student loans, whatever it is. Tell me about that.
Definitely. I do this all the time. I'm not a mediator, but I'm a third party neutral. I sit down with both parents. I ask them in advance for financial information that I do not share with the other parent. I make sure everything is completely confidential. Um, and because I work with people across the country, it's not always in person, it may be on Zoom. So, say I need additional information from one parent. I still don't want that other parent to be privy to that information. I'll ask the parent to text me during our session just to make sure that we're not sharing anything. But yeah, I want to get everyone's financial information so it will help in directing our conversation to help plan strategically for the both parents to be able to save money.
All right, so Vicky, you are the mediator for this kind of stuff. You're not an actual mediator, but you serve the same purpose as if they said, okay, we need one mediation session. Well, that's what Vicky does. Will help you. Okay, now I
So that
wanted, go ahead.
that's the beginning. That's the first session, and that can help the parents and the student with selecting what types of colleges to apply to, knowing about the different financial aid forms and what they may need and who should fill them out. But then we'd also get into talking about things further down the line in 12th grade, such as applying for scholarships and filling out those financial aid applications and applying for student loans and everything, how it impacts both parents and who's participating and who's doing what when.
You're listening to the Divorced Girl Smiling podcast. My name is Jackie Pilosoff, and I'm your host. And today I am here with Vicky Volweiler. Vicky is an MBA, a CDC, certified divorce coach, but her specialty is college funding and financial aid. And Vicky and I are talking about tips for divorced parents with high school kids headed to college. We're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we are going to talk about some myths and facts about divorce and college planning. We're going to get into what you should be doing if you have a senior and how specifically you can save money. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Divorce Girl Smiling podcast. My name is Jackie Pilosoff, and I'm your host. Are you a divorced parent who has college on the radar and it's stressing you out massively? If so, this is a great episode for you. My guest is Vicky Volweiler, MBA and CDC, and a college funding and financial aid expert. Vicky is the founder of College Financial Prep. That is the name of her company. So if you want to find out more about her, you can find her at collegefinancialprep.com. Right, Vicky? Is that the right?
Yes.
Okay. You can
That is
also find her in the trusted professional section of Divorce Girl Smiling. Vicky is a very trusted professional. I've known Vicky for a few years. She's been at this for a long time. She's very good financially, and she's also divorced and has kids who went to college. So she's been there on a personal level too. So, Vicky, tell me about people with college seniors. What should they be thinking about right now?
So for college seniors, the financial aid applications are going to open soon. The CSS profile is going to open on October 1st. And that's typically for mostly private schools, mostly brand name schools. It's not every private school, but this is part of the strategic planning that we do because many of the schools that do require CSS profile want financial aid information from both parents. Is that true for every school that requires CSS profile? No, but most of the schools. So this is a key way to help save money on the cost of college. Um,
Okay, now I have heard from people that, let's say the husband makes like a lot of money, like too much to qualify for the any college savings or anything like that. Okay, now what if and then the mom like has like a part-time job or makes much less? Is that true that you're supposed to use the mom as the primary parent? Like, is that a myth? What tell me
so
about that.
so the rules just changed recently, last year, due to the FAFSA Simplification Act. And it used to just be automatically, it was the custodial parent. Um, Now it's not the custodial parent anymore. And some people say, but we have joint custody, and who's the custodial parent? And out of 365 days, if somebody had the kids, 183 days and the other parent had 182, the one who had 183 would have been the custodial parent. Um, anyway, now it's the person who provides more financial support for the student. And that doesn't necessarily mean you know, uh, who earns more. It doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily mean, who's paying more on paper, on child support. Um, there's really no set guidelines that I've seen. Um, so on a case by case basis, I'm working it out with my clients so that way we can determine who it's best to use that meets the rules.
Wow, so it's so case specific that working with you would help people in this situation say, okay, what can we do and what is going to give us the maximum benefit? Wow, that's great. I would have never known that because it just changed. All right, so they're thinking about now tell me when
So
first
that's
started.
for FAFSA, not for CSS profile. For CSS profile, it's still going to be traditionally the custodial and the non-custodial parent. They'll
Okay,
each
so a FAFSA is the federal loan
the
program.
free
A
application for federal student aid.
Okay, and what is so it's not a loan, it's for student aid.
So you fill out the FAFSA form, and there are many reasons to fill it out, even if you think that your household isn't going to qualify. Um, you fill it. I mean, obviously, you fill it out for need-based aid, and people can get a Pell Grant through the government, but then it also goes to the colleges, and the colleges, some of them are charging over $90,000 a year now. They don't expect everybody to be able to pay $90,000 a year. So the colleges then also review the financial aid applications and they may offer you need based aid. So it's important to fill it out. Other reasons to fill it out: you can earn millions of dollars, but you want your child to have that skin in the game, so to speak, and have their own student loans. You do that with a FAFSA application. Also to apply for work study programs, and the other reason to fill it out, it's almost like an insurance product. Um, say you've had a change in situation or you see something happening, like maybe somebody loses a job, maybe there's a divorce, maybe there's a medical illness and lots of, expenses. It's important to have the FAFSA form on file in case any of this happens.
So are you saying you can't get a student loan unless you fill out the FAFSA?
The student cannot get a student loan unless they fill out the FAFSA.
Oh, okay. All right. And what's the CSSI form? What is that?
So CSS profile, and that's administered by the College Board, which is the same organization that does the SAT exams and the AP tests. And so they administer the CSS profile, which is a much, much more in depth look financially at the household. I'm not saying it's good, it's not saying it's bad, because it could benefit people differently. They're just looking at way more than FAFSA does.
Okay, wait. First of all, I think the CSSI profile is new because I never
No,
had to fill that. But
it depends on the school. School specific, only some schools need the CSS profile.
I can't imagine anything being more in depth than the FAFSA. That thing took me a week to fill out. How can anything be more in depth?
They look more closely at your primary residence, they look more at your retirement accounts. Some schools even wanna know what kind of cars you drive. They dive much deeper into your finances.
Wow. Okay, so tell me about the scholarship availability that people think they can't take advantage of.
Well, there are different kinds of scholarships. There are some scholarships that come directly from the colleges, and sometimes when your child submits their college application, they're automatically considered for scholarships. But other times there are additional applications with the colleges. So it's important to check, with each specific college to make sure you're filling out all the applications as you need to. So that's the first kind, the scholarships directly from the colleges. Then there are also private scholarships. And you can use Google to search for private scholarships. You can use the search engines. If you go to my website at collegefinancialprep.com/scholarships, you'll see a list of some of the search engines there, and databases that you can use. And there are also some other scholarships listed as well there. So definitely different opportunities. And don't forget to also, inquire with your child's guidance counselor. The guidance office will always have some local scholarships. And also, if parents say belong to a union, check with them if they offer any scholarships for your children. So there are definitely different opportunities out there.
Wow. Okay, what percentage of kids have some type of scholarship?
I, I can't say a percentage, but most, certainly, when the kids are applying to colleges, um, I don't know if you've heard these terms, but typically when they apply to colleges, it should be a balanced list. There should be reach schools, target schools, safety schools, and then I like to add financially friendly schools to the list. But it's the safety colleges that will typically offer the most in merit aid. So if that's something that's important, definitely make sure you have plenty of safety schools on the list.
Wow. The reason I asked for the percentage is because I wanted to hear you say that most people can get some type of scholarship, which,
Yeah,
listen, even if it's only $1,000 a semester, it's something.
well, definitely. But so some people, they only, feel as if, and these are just, personal goals, values, it's not right or wrong, but some people want the best school that their child can get into. And if that's a reach school, that school is unlikely to offer a merit scholarship. It's almost like supply and demand. Everybody wants that school, so they have less need to offer a scholarship. Scholarships are really just a discount to entice you to go to that school. The school is a business; they have
Well,
seats to
yeah,
fill.
it's like a discount.
Right,
Yes.
right. So yes, most people, most students can get a discount, as long as they're doing it from the right schools. So they
All right,
have to
I have
apply to the
another
right.
question. I have another question. Do colleges look at divorce? Do they take that into consideration with the forms and the scholarships and the financial aid and all that? Is it any different than two regular parents?
Um, so I'll say this. You could have, I mean, I'm making this up, obviously. You could have one household with one person, one adult earning $100,000 a year. Or you can have a household that has two adults and they each earn $50,000 a year. So they're not, both households only earn $100,000. Now, they don't necessarily look at if you're divorced, they're looking at household. So with FAFSA, they're going to look at one household as opposed to the two households. If that parent happens to be remarried, now they're also going to consider the new spouse because there's still two adults in the household. Um, so is divorce taken into it? Not exactly, but they're going to consider just the one parent in the household. So that's one of the ways it can benefit a divorced family.
All right, I have another question. In Illinois, I can only speak for Illinois, but you're going to tell me if this is true in other states. When you go to court, if you were to go to court, let's say you and your ex just cannot agree on who's paying for college and how much and all that. In Illinois, it's 33, 33, 33%. One parent is responsible for 33%, the other is another 33%, and the child is responsible for the other 30. She's shaking her head no. So this is what would happen if you went to a judge in Illinois and you were in massive litigation. Is that not true in other states?
So some states do. I'll come back to the 33, 33, 33 in a minute, but let me just say this for everyone that's listening. Every state is different when it comes to college. Some states do have guidelines that, require that college be considered in divorce. Other states do not. The child support ends at 18, the kid's an adult and on their own if they want to go to college. The problem, especially with the 33, 33, 33, is that when the kids, our children go to apply for student loans freshman year, they only qualify for $5,500 in student loans. Does college necessarily only cost 16,500 that they can take care of a third? Not really. Is it possible? Yes, of course. They can go to a local school and live at home, and yes, it is doable. But lots of times they do choose to go away to school and live on campus, and the expenses are just going to be much higher. So kids can take out a private loan after the 5,500 freshman year, but they're still going to need mom or dad as a cosigner. So then which parent is in effect, helping the kid to meet the 33%. Um, and then really it's, falling on them if the kid defaults.
All right, so we're running out of time, but I want you to tell my listeners because obviously working, like I'm sitting here learning after this taping of the podcast recording, I'm going to be like, Vicky, we need to have a session. So if somebody works with you, you charge hourly, correct?
So if I do offer just 1 hour consultations, and that's hourly. I offer complete packages. On my website at collegefinancialprep.com/divorce, I do have a new package listed specifically for divorce and college planning. It's like a hybrid program, so it's one-on-one for FAFSA, but then it's once a month as a group for everyone to ask their questions and for us to talk about different timely topics throughout the year to help everyone maximize their savings.
And then Vicky, you also offer a lot of like free webinars and low cost webinars where people could just get this information in a group setting online.
Yes. Actually, I did one recently where I did it with a local attorney, local to me. Um, so we were covering like legal and financial concerns. If anybody wants a recording on that, it's also on the website.
Oh my gosh, I love this. So my point in making the point I'm trying to make is that yes, you have to pay Vicky a lot of times. You can go to her free webinars, low cost webinars, but you got to pay. Now,
But
the
the
money that
investment,
Vicky is going to save you is going to far outweigh what you're paying her. So it makes a lot of sense. Like you could go to Vicky and spend $1,000 and end up saving 15,000.
and I put on there also, I created a scholarship, if you will. If somebody earns less than 60,000, combined with, whether there's former spouses involved, or, not, um, it's $500 off if they do a full package.
Great, great. I love it. Vicky, thank you so much. I'm learning so much. I want to continue the conversation offline. So, to my listeners, if you liked what you heard and you want to talk to Vicky, you can find her in the trusted professional section of Divorced Girl Smiling, divorcedgirlsmiling.com, but you can also find her at collegefinancialprep.com. And she has a whole section on divorce on her website. So, Vicky, thanks again for being on. I can't tell you how much I learned.
You're very welcome. I'm glad to be here. If anybody has
And to
questions.
my listeners, if you want to find Vicky and other trusted vetted divorce professionals, everything from divorce attorneys, mediators, therapists, coaches, real estate agents, mortgage lenders, a company that buys rings back, I mean, everything, go to divorcedgirlsmiling.com and you can also listen to more podcasts. You can read articles, you can download my mobile app, or you can sign up for my free consult. So thank you so much for listening, everybody, and we'll talk to you real soon.